When you think of an Iranian Muslim, what do you think of? The well-known stereotype of an Iranian Muslim is a dusty, dirty person who is completely controlled by religion. The only way they get money is by selling oil, and they are all terrorists. The women are completely covered in black clothing, and the men all wear turbans. This stereotype is unfair to them.
One reason that we classify Muslims as dirty terrorists is because much of U.S. media is focused on the terrorism that takes place in Iran. Because we almost never hear anything positive about their country, we only focus on the negative aspects of it. One thing we could do to diminish America's bad view on Iran and to give it a better reputation is to have less press devoted to the terrorism in the Middle East, and also to hold back from exaggerations.
Our first example of where the stereotype originated is from Iranian culture. In Iran, gender roles are much different than those in the U.S. Women don't have as many rights as men and aren't valued as much as men. The women are forced to wear the veil, but they can only show part of their skin. They do not just wear black and can only take the veil off some of the time.
Another example of Iran culture that builds stereotypes is gender roles. If a man and woman were to go to court, the man's influence is double of what a woman's would be. Or a man may have 4 wives, but a woman could only have 1 husband. Enough about stereotypes. Let's focus on positive culture in Iran.
A positive aspect of culture in Iran is music. Music in Iran happens to resemble American music. The variety and actual sound of it contributes to the resemblance. Sadly enough, that's not what the media shows. The truth is, only 1% of Iran's population are actually terrorists. But what are the motives of the 1% of terrorists that do take refuge in Iran? Iran wants to spread its influence over the world and to battle Israel. So, Iran openly sponsors the terrorist group Hezbollah by giving the organization nearly $200 million a year.
99% of the population in Iran is Islamic. This could spark conflicts if different religions fought over holy sites, or they wanted their religion to be superior.
The stereotype of all Muslims being terrorists could lead people to the conclusion that all Iranians are terrorists, but like I said, only 1% of the population in Iran are actually terrorists.
The British Parliament has actually sent a warning to all travelers going to Iran because of the terrorist activity. The border between Iraq and Iran is marked as do not travel. The whole east side of Iran is a no tourist zone. We thought the Taliban was in Iran because east of Iran is Afghanistan. Afghanistan hid both the Taliban and Al-Qaeda.
But that's not the only reason terrorists are present. Iran has an abundance of oil and natural resources. The country holds 1/10 of the world's gasoline production and 1/20 of the world's crude oil production. Terrorists reside in Iran because they have the opportunity to attack the oil fields and gain more control. Also, Iran's natural resources can be appealing for production of WMDs and other weapons. Basically, it is very helpful resourcefully.
An effect that the terrorists have on Iran is that they make everyday life much more daunting, harder, and dangerous for the innocent citizens. Now let's talk about Iran's mapping and resources. The geographical location gives the country oil-rich benefits. Iran borders the Caspian Sea and the Persian Gulf. This helps geographically because it gives Iran a broad source of water. Iran is also near the Strait of Hormuz, so being able to import and export easily helps build relations with surrounding countries.
Iran is located between Afghanistan, Iraq, Turkmenistan, Pakistan, and Turkey. This gives Iran easy ways of exporting to other countries by both land and water. The Persian Gulf alone produces 28% of the world's crude oil supply. Although Iran shares the Gulf with 8 other countries, the Gulf still brings in a lot of money for the country.
Although oil is Iran's staple resource, it is certainly not the only way Iranians earn money. Residents also make livings from selling rugs and natural gas. There is also more diversity in the jobs involving oil instead of just selling. To sum things up, we hope you enjoyed our presentation and have more knowledge on Iranians.